I mean, none of this stuff has gotten much attention. That's the thing, is that people wonder why these pains are increasing and why they're lasting longer. And I think it's because one of the fundamental things driving it has not really been addressed. We want the home runs. We want the knockout punch. That's what we want in society. Like, you get rid of my jaw pain right now. I don't want this anymore.
Because I got to get back to work.
I got to get
and then
back
I got to
to work.
go do that thing.
I got a podcast to do, whatever it might be. So give me a powerful pain medication or do surgery. And maybe, surgery is the right answer. I'm a surgeon. That can be the right answer in many cases, but not in most. 90% of the time probably is not the right answer for many things.
I would love for you to read the dedication of this book.
For my 3 daughters, Sage, Sky, and Soleil, every word in this book is for you. One of our greatest fears is seeing the people we love in pain. And with this book, I hope to prevent that from happening for you. Having parents who live a pain-free life is the gift I aim to give you, so that your mother and I may always be present, active, and engaged. For my dear wife, Rebecca, you, like too many others, have lived with physical pain. Yet during those times when I felt powerless to help, you inspired me to dig deep into what is possible and put what I learned on the page. Thank you for always taking the time to listen, encourage, and offer stellar suggestions for how to make this book the best it could be. And for the millions of people out there with chronic pain, I know it presents you with profound challenges, often invisible to others. I wrote this book for you, to share your stories and my confidence that together we can chart a path beyond pain, a path of action, hope, and healing.
How has Rebecca's journey impacted you?
I mean, she's my wife. We've been married forever now. We've known each other for a long time. And, I've been a doctor for a long time. And I think with my wife and my mom, pain came home. It came to visit my house. And, I think I've always tried to treat my patients like family. But at the same time, like watching the ones that you love and you spend all this time with. So you really know them and you know how they are and you know their personalities. And you see pain hijack their lives, hijack their identity. And you're like, that's not the person I know. And it's pain talking, not them. I think that was tough. But I think at the same time, I think our greatest joy sometimes, Mel, come in overcoming things, rising above. And I think in some ways, not that I wish that she had gone through what she went through, just like I don't wish that you had gone through what you went through, but she's doing great.
How long did it take?
It took a while. I still remember when it sort of started in my mind for her, because she had sort of been talking about it, but you keep thinking, oh, this is just a thing that'll go away in a little bit. And she couldn't turn the doorknobs, with their hand. And I thought, well, that seems like a very arthritic sort of component to this. Like what is happening? And I remember lying in bed with her once and, asking silly questions in retrospect, like, how much does it hurt? Like, doc, how do I explain this to you? You want me to give you a number? Because my number would be immeasurable, right? You don't understand. Or I'd say, point to where it hurts. And I remember she would point to a part on her body and she would basically say, this is the only place it doesn't hurt. And I think that was probably, 3 or 4 year journey in some ways. Keep in mind, the way the medical establishment works, especially with these kinds of pains, is you try a medicine. In this case, it may be a medication for autoimmune disease.
Yeah.
And you need to give it months to see if it'll work, right? So it's not a fail fast sort of model.
Yeah.
It's a long trial period sort of model. Maybe it's working, maybe it's not. So months would go by, didn't really work. Go back to the drawing board, try something else. So, that we probably went through that cycle 4 or 5 times, 6 months a pop. And then now she's on no meds.
I am sorry that we went through this, but I'm grateful that you guys did, because it clearly sparked what I think is going to be some of your most important work, because it's personal, it's impactful. And as you said, the pain came home.
Yeah.
But the story, which is very daunting and so many people can relate to it, also proves that over time, all of these changes that you're talking about that really galvanize the natural intelligence and desire of your body to heal and to be pain-free, they can work. And that is an incredible gift that you're giving to all of us. And so thank you to Rebecca. Thank you to your mom. Thank you to you.
Well, I really appreciate that, Mel, especially coming from you. It's you write books, as you well know, and you spent 3 years. I spent 3 years working on the book, and I was dreaming about it at some points. Just it takes over your life, and I wanted to learn everything I could. And had I written the book that I really wanted to write, it probably would have been, this thick.
We wouldn't have read it.
You
So I'm
wouldn't have
glad
read
it's
it.
smaller. No,
So I
I'm
wanted-
just kidding.
But on the other hand, I wanted to put things in the book that you can't just easily go and Google.
Yes.
I wanted to give you the why behind the what, because I felt like if you understood why these things worked, and you could actually see the data and maybe even meet some of the researchers who, many of them have pain themselves. And that's what inspired them to do this kind of work, and understand their stories, and then understand how they set up an experiment, and then how they validated the experiment, and then what it means for you. It's powerful stuff. It's powerful for me. I incorporate these things into my own life as well. My wife gets tremendous relief from meditation now, and she is the biggest skeptic of all. I'm skeptical.
Well, she's a lawyer, a former
She's a
lawyer, right?
Like,
So-
show me the data on this. I'm not, there will be faith to abandon if this doesn't work for me, So, but I did it with her. And my mom, who is an engineer, so very science-minded. First woman ever hired as an engineer at the Ford Motor Company
That's
back
cool.
in the 60s. So, just that sort of persona. I did meditation with her as well. And it's not just meditation. It's all these other things. It's the movement. My wife's pain got so bad at times that when I would get home from work, I'd have to carry her up the stairs. She just couldn't go up the stairs on her own. Everything just hurt too much. Just grimacing every single movement. And there's all these different things that we tried. It wasn't just meditation. But I think what was striking to me as we traveled to all these hospitals around the country trying to get her care was that everyone's like, all right, let's try a TNF blocker. Let's try this particular pain medication. Let's try this autoimmune therapy. How about Humira? Have you done that? Which we greatly appreciated all that. She was still in pain, though. So, it was the baggage that was not getting addressed. And I felt helpless at times to try and help her. But the idea that ultimately, I started meditating myself, doing these other things myself, really focusing on movement, I think really helped her. She ended up doing the Malibu triathlon with me. So it's...
Well, from being carried up the stairs to doing a triathlon using these approaches?
It works. It works.
What do you do if the person that you love is experiencing chronic pain and they just feel so discouraged?
It's really hard, Mel. You're talking about 50 million people right now, at least. These are the people who actually come forward and raise their hand and say, I'm in chronic pain. A lot of people still don't because there's so much stigma attached to it. I think what I say to people is that there's an off-ramp. I don't know how many exits away it is. I don't know how long it's going to take to get there. But the idea that you imagine this to be the rest of your life, that does not have to be the case. If you're somebody who's listening and you're in chronic pain and you say, come on, man, really? I'm not saying don't rule out structural problems. I'm not saying don't treat pain if it's really bad. But what I'm saying is all the other things that probably got ignored should probably be addressed. It's going to greatly increase the likelihood that you're going to be able to relieve your pain.
Well, one of the biggest things that I'm taking away from this is that, if you're in pain, if it's not acute, it's actually a sign to move. It's a sign to lean into your life.
Yes.
And I feel like every one of us has been told the opposite.
I know.
And so that in and of itself is life-changing. If the person listening were to do just one thing out of all the extraordinary stuff that you've shared, what do you think is the most important first step to take?
I think it's very empowering to start to journal about your pain. I think part of the problem is that when patients often they go to a doctor's office or they're describing, they're just saying, I'm in pain. But pain is complicated. There's all these different things that are sort of associated with it. So starting to really understand your pain. And when I say understand it, I mean, lean into the pain. Like, let's say the pain is in your thigh. Can you trace it? Are there hot spots in the pain? Can you identify that? Like really, really use as many adjectives as you can to almost, some people like to draw the pain, so really getting to know your pain, I think, and then understanding what makes it better, what makes it worse. If you do have some of these things that we are not in any pejorative way referring to as baggage, depression, anxiety, fully understand that we are an integrated operating system. Our whole bodies are this fantastic integrated operating system with the parallel operating system known as consciousness. How cool is that? But this integrated operating system, you have to really be addressing all these things in order to address chronic pain. You are the most reliable narrator of your pain. So embrace that role. I think that's what pain doctors do with patients. They treat them as an active partner, not just a passive participant.
Dr. Sanjay Gupta, what are your parting words?
I guess the parting words are something that I thought about a lot, which are, it doesn't have to hurt. It requires work, but it doesn't have to hurt as long. It doesn't have to hurt as bad.
Well, I believe you. I'm so excited. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here.
What a pleasure. Thanks for having me, Mel.
And I also want to thank you. Thank you for caring enough about yourself that you took the time to be here with me and to learn from Dr. Sanjay Gupta. There's no doubt that if you put to use everything that you just learned today, you're going to feel better. You're going to be happier. I'm so excited to hear how this works for you and the people that you care about. And in case nobody else tells you, I wanted to be sure to tell you as your friend that I love you and I believe in you and I believe in your ability to create a better life. And prioritizing your health is one of the best ways that you can do it. Alrighty, I will see you in the very next episode. I'll be there to welcome you in the moment you hit play.